friendship that'll never ever end.
Run!
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie 514. Jack in that neighborhood. My brothers and sisters. I don't know where y'all live, but where I live, it has officially became hot as outside, y'all. Like for the past 5 days, man, the freaking heat index has been over 100 degrees, and I'm just sitting back like, yeah, it's official. Summer is among us. But I digress. Hope y'all doing excellent out there today, and I'm glad that you came on back to the channel once again to fuck with the bean. And today, we are going back to my homeboy. And that homeboy is Kevin from Just Thought Lounge. Back to Just Thought Lounge, y'all. And check the crazy title of this video out. He shot an entire family at a Costco. True crime documentary. Now, it's just so crazy, man, because it say entire family, which just lead me to believe, y'all, my first assumption just from the title that kids are involved, man. You know what I'm saying? Not only did he shoot the adults, the mama and daddy, but he potentially shot the son and the daughter. You know what I'm saying, man? And that's where it's just like, dude, it's like when people be murdering people, and I said it over here on our channel 100 times now, but it's like, dude, is at a certain point where it's like you're taking it too far. You had to murder the kids too, or shoot them too? What the hell the kids do to you? I mean, you could have been in an argument with the mama and daddy, but that ain't got nothing to do with the kids. So I don't know, y'all. Or you could have been in a fight with the mama and daddy, but the kids ain't hurting you. The kids can't do nothing to you. Just throw them off you if they come swinging. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no reason that you should be shooting kids. Long story short, short story long. And just reading the title of the video, it made me believe that kids are involved in this story. But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. But we're about to see. But before we see, my brothers and sisters, y'all know what y'all got to do. Get whatever you might need. Get what you need, please. We back to Kevin from Just Thought Lounge. Y'all got what y'all need. Y'all ready to go? Then let's go.
Just past 7:30 p.m. at a busy Costco superstore in Corona, California, the sound of gunfire rang out. Dozens of calls were placed to 911 while shoppers ran for the doors or dropped to the floor. The response was rapid, but the details of what had occurred were patchy at best. What was clear was that an entire family on their weekly grocery shop had been targeted by a single gunman. While emergency services rushed the wounded to the hospital, the shooter, an off-duty LAPD officer, was escorted from the store, ostensibly uninjured and without assistance. Hi everyone, I'm Kevin and welcome back to Just Thought Lounge. Today's case has very recently seen a major development. When the shooting occurred back in 2019, it was terrifying and shocking. Even with the evidence that has now come to light, many people still disagree about what exactly happened inside the Costco that night. Let's take a look.
Get whatever you might need.
The city of Corona, California is roughly 50 miles east of Los Angeles in Riverside County. The city is home to Corona Farms, a popular art gallery, and, of course, its very own Costco. Friday evenings at the superstore are usually very busy. By 7:30 p.m. on June 14, 2019, most of the after-work shoppers had already come and gone. it was beginning to quiet down. At 7:45 p.m., the night took a tragic turn. The sound of gunshots rang out. Dozens of calls began pouring into 911.
Corona 911, what's the address of your emergency?
We heard gunshots.
I'm at Costco on McKinley. There was gunshots.
2 people were down. There were shots fired.
The first responding officer to the scene had been parked just outside of the store. He arrived just over 1 minute after shots were fired. Employees directed the officer towards a man lying on the floor, whom they said had been the shooter. That man, LAPD off-duty officer Salvador Sanchez, appeared confused but unharmed. He had pulled his weapon and took aim at 3 other shoppers. In the aisle just beyond Salvador, shoppers had gathered to assist the 3 wounded individuals. Many shoppers inside the store had dropped to the ground upon hearing the gunshots. Others ran for the door.
And what would y'all do in that situation, y'all? You in Walmart right now and you just hear shots that's going on. Pop, 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 pop. Would you drop down to the ground and try to hide somewhere? Would you try to get the F up out of there? I don't know, man. For me, I'll try to think like, where do I hear the shots coming from? Are they close? Are they far? You know what I'm saying? Then I'll make my decision based on the scenario, man. But it's crazy that this dude is a freaking police officer who did this. Why the freak did you just shoot these people? If none of them got no gun on them or no weapon, then I'm sorry, it's not justified. I don't know. I can't wait to hear the reason that he say he killed them. Or let's just see. Let's see.
I heard yelling and all of a sudden just pop. And then pop, 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 pop. And everybody started running out the store. I was grabbing my wife and the daughter and putting them in front of me and trying to get them out the store. We were like 2 hours away and we heard gunshots. We heard the first one and then we heard 6 more. There were 7 shots altogether.
It was
because the thing about when you hear them gunshots in the store, you don't know if this is somebody like targeting somebody or somebody's, or they just in the store shooting any goddamn body. You don't know. You may be the next target. So it's just a crazy situation to be in.
later determined that not 7 but 10 shots had been fired from a Glock handgun, and in very quick succession. It was a confused scene at the superstore in the minutes and hours immediately after the incident. Law enforcement descended upon the Costco in full force, anticipating an active shooter situation. Of course, that is not what they found, but they needed time to determine exactly what it was that they were dealing with. Shoppers who had remained inside the store were escorted to the parking lot by Corona police, who were attempting to secure the scene. Most exited the store only to find that their cars had been enclosed by police tape, and they were unable to leave. Until the Corona police were able to ascertain what had occurred inside and who was involved, no one was going anywhere. In the meantime, social media was lighting up with different accounts. The most prominent was that there had been an active shooter, and an off-duty officer was a hero who stopped it all. The Corona police initially believed that an argument had broken out, which led to a gunfight.
At about 7:45 this evening, we received a call of shots fired here in the Costco, located at 479 McKinley. Officers arrived, anticipating an active shooter situation. They went inside and counted 4 subjects down. There's one deceased male who has yet to been identified. There was 2 other adults with apparent gunshot wounds that have been transported to local area hospitals. And there was a shooter detained inside, and he has been transported to a local hospital. My understanding from some people we talked to, there was apparently an argument inside, some type of argument that ensued into a gunshot, gun battle.
The apparent gunfight had taken the life of 32-year-old Kenneth French and seriously injured his father Russell and his mother Paola. The 3 had been doing their weekly grocery shop when they approached a food sample table offering a brand of sausages. At that sample table, Officer Sanchez stood holding his 20-month-old son, Noah. For reasons that remain undetermined, Kenneth French either shoved, slapped, punched, or otherwise pushed Salvador. This unprovoked assault caused him to fall to the ground. dropping his young son from his arms and ostensibly hitting his head on the ground. Salvador told responding officers that he believed he had been shot in the head. He further claimed to have seen a gun firing right before he was struck to the ground. The police officer responded by pulling his weapon.
Are you injured? No, I guess not. I thought I got shot in the back of my head.
Okay, his story already bullshit. This story already bullshit. I'm already tired of hearing his lies. Like, seriously, man, you thought you got shot because somebody slapped you? Like, that is a totally different. He had to been slapped the shit out of you in the back of your head for to think that you got shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, he already using exaggerating and trying to use hyperboles and stuff and trying to make the story something that I don't think it is, man. I don't know why he did this. I'm just worried that he gonna get away with it. That's my main concern now. He gonna get away with it.
And I see a blast and I feel my head just get knocked down enough for me to fall. I see a blast and I feel my head get knocked off and I fall to the ground. I drop my son. I thought I got shot. I still feel pain on the side of my head.
It was clear that Salvador had not been shot, but had he, in fact, been fired at all? One shopper in the Costco was searching for items down the main aisle when he heard the shots. When it was safe, he ran towards Kenneth and his father, Russell French, who was also wounded. The off-duty policeman was motioning towards Kenneth, he said, but when he reached him, there was no gun.
He said he thought I saw a black handgun. As I came over here, the deceased right there, we couldn't find the black handgun.
Indeed, Corona police could not identify any witnesses that saw Russell, Paola, or Kenneth with a firearm, nor any objects recovered near to where the family was shot that resembled a firearm. After evacuating the store, drones were sent in to check the tops of cabinets and freezing units. Despite the initial reports of a gunfight, investigators on scene quickly deduced that the only weapon that had been fired was the handgun of LAPD officer Salvador Sanchez.
And see, this is why I said he needed to be locked up, y'all. I was like, if there's no gun, no weapon found on the victim, your ass need to go to jail. He just making shit up, man. I don't know why. Why did you do this, dude?
Weapon? You know what? I'm not going to talk any further without my lawyer.
Officer Sanchez later told police specifically that he saw Kenneth holding a small black compact firearm, similar to a LCP Ruger 380 pistol. When he regained some composure after his fall, Salvador told police that he believed he saw Kenneth still pointing a gun at him and his son. Salvador Sanchez had no visible injuries following the incident, but did request to be taken to the hospital. There, he reported to doctors that he believed that he had lost consciousness after hitting his head on the hard floor of the Costco. Based upon this information, he was diagnosed with a concussion. The police report stated that he had not sustained any verifiable injury. No injury or bruises ever appeared. Of the 10 shots that Salvador fired, 4 of them struck Kenneth French, 3 in the back and 1 in the shoulder. His mother Paola was shot in the back, and his father Russell once in the abdomen, resulting in the loss of a kidney. The remaining 4 stray bullets were lodged in display cases. No one else was shot.
Then you gotta think about that. This man just shooting in a freaking store, man. You shooting at these people in a store. You can shoot some kids, anybody. Bullets ain't got no goddamn names. You know what I'm saying? All these shoppers around, it's literally probably babies in freaking a car seat inside a buggy, like that infant of a child, and you doing some ish like that. And you know, the age don't matter, man, for real. But y'all be getting what I'm saying, man. Like, just to be shooting. He shot 10 times in a freaking grocery store. That right there is just, oh my God, man. This dude right here, he kind of like pissed me off because it's just like, for what? Like, why would you do this?
Russell and Paola would spend months undergoing surgeries and treatment in hospital for their injuries. Their son Kenneth was less fortunate. Witnesses in the Costco reported that they held his hand and watched as the 32-year-old passed away.
Damn.
The Frenches had their roots in Calcutta, India. The couple were married in 1986. In a shared Facebook page, they wrote of their studies at Thames University in the UK, as well as time spent in Ontario, Canada. While in Canada, Kenneth studied accounting and financial management services at McMaster University. The family had relocated to Riverside, California at least 5 years before the shooting. Kenneth had been diagnosed with schizophrenia and an intellectual disability. According to family members, his condition had been worsening, and at the time of his death, Kenneth was nonverbal. He lived with his parents and had the mental capabilities of a teenager, according to relatives. There had been more recent concerns with fluid discovered in his brain. Kenneth had appointments scheduled in the coming weeks for further medical tests and consultations. It was later revealed that Kenneth had also recently been taken off his medication for mental illness due to other health issues. It was possible that this change may have impacted his behavior. It remains unclear why or in what manner Kenneth struck Salvador. Eyewitness accounts varied. Some shoppers recalled the officer falling to the ground. Others saw no provocation at all. One witness recalled seeing Kenneth facing Salvador with clenched fists. Another said they heard his head hit the ground.
I thought he had a heart attack. His fall was pretty hard. I can hear it.
Okay.
Like from his scalp that he fell on the ground, the hard floor.
Yeah, the concrete. You think he hit his head on the floor?
Yeah.
The guy just jumped on the floor, got his gun out, and jumped on the...
Like, you got so many witnesses saying so many different things about how that this whole incident actually happened. But the one thing I want to say real quick, y'all, is I believe that Kenneth really got, well, whoever, the off-duty police officer, because I'm getting their names confused. But the dude who actually did the shooting, who killed the other guy, I believe that he did get attacked by the other guy. Well, let's not say attacked. Well, I guess attack could be used. I believe that he did get slapped in the back of the head. I believe that part. Long story short, story long. Now, if he fell on the ground or not, I don't know. But all that really to me is irrelevant, because if you did get slapped in the back of it by the head, in the head by a complete stranger that you just out while you in the grocery store, okay, you can retaliate, but you ain't gotta retaliate by killing them. That don't give you a reason to kill somebody just because they slapped you in the back of the head. You know what I'm saying? If you want to fight, you want to throw the hands, you want to shout and go crazy and call them all type of whooping, do, freedom of speech, all that. You can do all that. But just killing somebody because they slapped you in your head, no, that's not going to work in court. You're not going scot-free with that one, man. You can't claim that it's self-defense. You weren't fearing for your life because somebody slapped you in the back of your head.
Paola French told responders at the scene that her son had whacked the man at the sample stand. Later, she referred to the hit as a slap. Suffering the trauma from a gunshot wound herself, she later could not recall the specifics of what she had said to police. Salvador Sanchez was not arrested at the scene. He was free to go home while the investigation was ongoing. The LAPD placed him first on desk duty and then on paid administrative leave.
I'm done. I'm not finna go all crazy. I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm just saying, man, this dude goddamn killed somebody, shot 2 other people, and just because, let's keep it all the way 100, just because he a police officer, not only did he not even go to jail that day, he still was at work on desk duty or whatever the word is. This man was still at work, working for the police after he done freaking shot 3 people and killed 1 because he got slapped in the back of the head. Can you think about that? Crazy.
Once acquired, the store surveillance footage did little to clarify the incident. From a distance of several aisles over, the camera view was also obscured by the store displays and shelving. The video does not capture the initial interaction between Kenneth and Salvador. The officer remains entirely hidden from view. Indeed, the footage begins only after Salvador had fallen to the ground and seems only to show Kenneth, seen in the striped shirt, being pushed away from the sample stand by his father. Paola is viewed briefly gesturing towards Salvador, who is presumably on the ground in front of the stand, before moving rapidly away from him to the right. The tapes showed the victims backing away from Salvador just before he fired. Upon releasing the footage to the public, law enforcement made clear that this security footage was the only visual evidence of the encounter that Costco could provide. There was nothing relevant captured earlier in this tape, nor were there any other cameras that recorded the incident, they said. Investigators determined that it was 3.8 seconds from the time that Salvador fell to the ground to the time that he opened fire. During this time, he declared that he was a police officer more than once. After 2 months in the hospital, the Frenches were discharged and began to speak about their experience. They hoped to apply pressure to the Riverside County DA's office to press charges.
I keep hearing my son did something, so show me the video that Kenneth did something. I didn't see it, so show me something.
Did you hear Sanchez say I'm a cop?
Yes. Twice, three times, yes.
Loud?
Yes.
And then he shot right there?
Absolutely.
In response to this pressure and public outcry, in September 2019, the Riverside County District Attorney's Office took the matter to a grand jury. The panel declined to indict Salvador Sanchez.
After considering all the evidence, the grand jury decided that no criminal charges should be filed in this case.
Salvador? I'll holler at y'all, man. I'm finna fucking go, y'all. I'm finna cut this shit off. I'm done with this bullshit, man. God damn, man. I said that I thought that he wouldn't actually go to prison for this, but I thought he would at least be charged. I thought at least that we would have a trial. These motherfuckers getting up here in front of the whole world telling us that there's not enough evidence, he not gonna be charged. Now you tell me, my brothers and sisters, if I'm in a goddamn store, or you, or your brother, or your sister, in a goddamn store, and somebody slap you in the back of the head, and you fall to the ground, and the first thing you do is pull out your gun and just shoot them and their mama and daddy, shooting all recklessly, and we just gonna let you come back to work the next day. You ain't got nothing to worry about, and then you got motherfuckers saying up here that we not gonna put no charges out. You not gonna be charged. What the fuck kind of world do that happen in? The world when you in with the blue. They back in the blue. This is what the definition of back in the blue is. Just because he a fucking police officer. He wasn't even on duty. Man, I ain't going there with y'all today.
Sanchez was shopping at Costco with his family when he was assaulted by Kenneth French. Sanchez was holding his young child at the time of this assault. Sanchez fired his firearm, striking Kenneth and both of Kenneth's parents.
Of the 19 members on the grand jury, 12 needed to find probable cause for the indictment, a much lower threshold than either a preponderance of the evidence or reasonable doubt. The testimony provided to the grand jury is private, but it was reported generally to local media that both Russell and Paola testified, and that each were questioned more about their son's medical history and his potential temper than the events of the shooting on June 14th. The grand jury, however, was not technically required to bring charges. District Attorney Mike Hestrin could have done so despite their refusal to indict. Hestrin decided, however, that he would follow the jury's guidance. Riverside County would not bring charges against Salvador Sanchez.
I am not condoning the shooting. I'm not up here saying it was fine. That's not what I'm here to convey to you. I could file charges despite what the grand jury did. I'm not going to do that. This grand jury was attentive. They worked hard. They asked appropriate questions to our prosecutors, and they heard all the evidence that we have.
The decision not to prosecute came as another devastating blow to the French family. Only 1 week out of hospital, they had finally been able to hold a funeral service for Kenneth. Now, they were holding another press conference.
Our family has just taken another blow, and we have lost complete faith in the U.S. justice system.
Salvador Sanchez was clearly in the wrong, as he was not in imminent danger to fire 10 shots at an entire unarmed family.
I begged and told him not to shoot. I said, we have no guns and my son is sick. He still shot.
With the assistance of their lawyer, civil rights attorney Dale Gallipo, the family filed a lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles at the end of 2019. They argued that the city was negligent. Officer Sanchez had acted in his capacity as a policeman at the time of the shooting, and his professional training was clearly lacking. They argued that Salvador invoked his governmental status as a police officer throughout the incident, including both before and after the shooting, as a means to influence the behavior of bystanders, the victims, and eyewitnesses. This influence allowed him to claim self-defense when no such justification existed, they argued.
Kenneth, who was moving away from the officer, we believe, or at a minimum had his back to the officer when he was shot, goes against the concept that someone's attacking me and about to kill me when I shot him. And I would submit that if it was anyone other than a police officer, they would have been prosecuted.
Fucking exactly, man. This one here got me so fucking pissed off right now, y'all. Man, this shit it's blatant in our face that the fact that he a freaking police officer is the only reason that he is a free man. Y'all not even charging him. This is blatant freaking murder. You don't kill somebody just because they freaking hit you in the back of your head, man. How many freaking times do I gotta say it, my brothers and sisters? This is like if I feel like them damn police, these people getting up on this stage in front of, like I said, the whole world saying this bullshit to us and accepting us and expecting us to accept it like it's golden, like it's gold, and it's really a pile of you know what that the damn elephant left on the circus floor. This is crazy, man. Like I just feel them like. You know how motherfuckers will know they lying to you, but they know that you know they lying, but it's like, y'all can't do nothing about it. It is what it is. I'm gonna lie to you, and you just gotta know that I'm lying, but you still can't change it. That's what the fuck is going on, man.
During the civil trial, the family was able to introduce an animation that depicted the sequence of events. The recreation filled in the visual gaps left by the surveillance footage. It was produced by a company called DK Global. In the recreation, the French family can be seen walking together and pushing their shopping cart towards the sample stand where Salvador stood with his son. A slap pushes the policeman to the floor where Paola, seeing the gun, pleads with him not to use it. All three family members are then shot. An LA jury in November 2021 ruled in favor of the Frenches, awarding them just over $17 million in damages. By the time this substantial decision was reached in civil court, Salvador Sanchez had also lost his job. The Riverside County DA's office failed to find probable cause to indict, but the city's police department's investigation came to a different conclusion. 10 months after the grand jury refused to indict him, the LAPD concluded that the shooting was out of policy and fired him. After reviewing the case, they determined that another officer would not have reasonably believed that Kenneth French posed an imminent threat of death or serious injury. Only a threat of that severity would justify his use of force, which they deemed was excessive. Salvador's attorneys argued that the reality of the threat posed by Kenneth was secondary to the one that the officer perceived at that time. He believed Kenneth held a gun. That is what matters. The fall to the floor, they said, was crucial to making sense of this perception. Indeed, the ex-LAPD officer had initially told the police that he had fallen unconscious. After awakening on the floor, he thought that he was under attack.
Impacted him severely, and he believed he'd been shot, and the impact on his brain caused him to believe that Mr. French had a gun. For anybody in the LAPD to say that the average LAPD officer wouldn't have reacted that way is simply being dishonest, because you don't know how somebody's going to react with a head injury. If you have a head injury, you have a head injury, and it impacts you negatively.
Daniel France, a doctor with the Los Angeles Brain Science Project, examined Salvador in 2021, and after reading reports and witness statements, concluded his actions were reasonable in light of the head injury he suffered. The doctor stated that Salvador's perception and actions were reasonable for an individual who had suffered a concussion or traumatic brain injury moments before. This explains why Salvador thought he saw a gun and why he believed that he was under attack by the French family. The doctor concluded that corrupted memory and recall are expected after a head injury.
He believed he had to use deadly force to protect his son and himself, and he fired the amount of shots he believed was necessary.
That may have been the end of the line for this case, at least in the courts, if the state attorney's office had not taken an interest. The California Attorney General's office announced it would pursue appropriate charges where the county had refused. In August of 2021, Salvador was charged with 1 count of voluntary manslaughter, as well as assault charges with a deadly weapon. He faced 30 years in prison if convicted.
At this point, I just feel good if he get this much of a charge. You know what I'm saying, man? How the way this freaking case going, it's like, at this point, I'll take manslaughter, man, 30 years. At least we can get that much right. You know what I'm saying? I'm still holding on, y'all, to a little bit of hope that something is done, that justice is served in some type of way.
In response to the charges, Salvador's attorney, David Winslow, accused the state of using the arrest as a political stunt by California Attorney General Rob Bonta.
And he was easy prey, and it's something that they're going to make political fodder with. And believe me, he has the evidence to justify his actions.
The case went to trial in late 2023. The judge ruled that no cameras would be allowed in the courtroom, though some audio could be recorded. Deputy Attorney General Michael Murphy told jurors that former Officer Sanchez did not make a reasonable assessment of the situation and immediately created a false narrative in his head about what had happened. That included his belief that he was shot, that Kenneth had a gun, and that he fell unconscious after being struck in the back of the head. A reasonable person in his position, after being hit in the back of the head, would have instead said something along the lines of, "What the heck?" before feeling the back of their head to see if there was an injury, Murphy said. He argued that when Salvador realized that what he did was unreasonable, he lied about being knocked unconscious and that he saw a gun pointed at his head.
It literally fits the saying, he shot first and asked questions later.
True.
The defense focused in on how rapidly the ex-policeman responded after being hit by Kenneth French. Instead of interpreting the quick response as an overreaction, they argued that this was the time frame that he had to respond to what he perceived as a life or death threat. Defense counsel stated, "Count 3 seconds. That's how much time my client had after being punched so hard that his head hit the concrete with a thump. That's how much time he had to assess where the threat was, who the threat was, and whether there was still a threat. 1, 2, 3. According to the defense, the shooting was a tragedy, but most likely a decision made by a father while suffering from a possible concussion and after having been attacked for no reason.
I just gotta say, like I have said so many times, and I'm so over this damn story, man, because it just done pissed me off. It's so exhausting. But I gotta say, man, just one more time, man, defense attorneys are the most scum of the freaking earth, man, because I don't even believe his freaking defense attorney believe that he is in the right, that he should be a free man. He just doing it for the check. These people will sit up here and defend murderers for some damn money. That is just scum ass shit. Long story short, short story long.
Just got attacked from behind. Dave's trying to figure out what's going on, thinking he was shot, but knowing he's still in danger from the same person who's standing right there, fists clenched, arms bent, angry, aggressive. He's looking to preserve human life by basically defending himself and his son, especially the little boy. That's reasonable. He's not guilty. That's the law.
Scumbags.
The attorney said Salvador had no intention of shooting Kenneth or his parents dead. He fired only until he knew the threat was over, adding that his client still had 3 bullets that were not fired. Paola French testified that she saw her son move someone out of the way with his hand, and then a man who said he was a police officer pointing and firing a gun at them. Russell told the jury that he struggled to stay alive so that there would be someone who could testify to what happened to his son. If all of us died, he said, this guy would have become a hero. The jury began their deliberations after Christmas, but by December 29th, they had been unable to reach a verdict. They also asked for clarification on several issues. The jury was due back after an unexplained extended break on the 18th of January, 2024. After returning to their deliberations, the jury sent a final note to the judge. They were deadlocked. Jurors had spent a cumulative 3.5 days unable to reach a consensus. The judge declared a mistrial. Salvador's attorney, Michael Schwartz, reported afterwards that the majority of jurors had been in favor of an acquittal, but he did not have the exact numbers. The defense attorney stated that this was a tragedy, but it wasn't a crime. At this point, he said, the case has been put in front of a grand jury and there was no indictment. Then put in front of a jury and there was no conviction. He concluded by stating, all parties should be allowed to move on. Moving on from this tragic incident is easier said than done, however, for the French family. Russell and Paola's health continues to suffer as a result of their injuries, and they continue to mourn the loss of their son taken from them too soon. It is now left to the California Attorney General's office to decide whether to retry Salvador Sanchez. A hearing is set for February 13th, 2024. And that was the tragic case of Kenneth French and his parents, Russell and Paola. If you like how we deliver these cases, then please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on our latest videos. Thanks so much for watching. This is Just Thought Lounge, and I'll see you in the next one.
Man, my brothers and sisters, that was just a lot to take in. Like, this is the thing about Kevin. Shout out to Kevin from Just Thought Lounge. This is why I like his channel, man, because you will get into a video expecting it to be cut and dry or whatever, and then you start getting all these layers on it, and you start coming up with this type of side of the story and that side of the story, and this could have happened and that could have happened, and before you know it, it's just like, man, dude, it's a lot that went on in this freaking case. And at the end of the day, man, I think we all should at least, I don't know, I'm gonna say we all could, but we all should agree that that damn man need to be locked up, man. Salvador need to be in prison for the rest of his life, and he never even went down to the goddamn county. Never even had to take his clothes off and put on a jumpsuit. You know what I'm saying? He never had to take a mug shot, no nothing, and just kill that man Kenneth in the store with his freaking parents like that. No reason other than he got slapped in the back of the head, but he thought that was a gunshot. Who in the hell get slapped in the back of the head and think they got shot? You thought you got shot? Like, that is just exaggeration and hyperboles and the most extreme exaggerations. Like, come on, bro. And like I said too, and they go for when I was talking about the defense attorney, because boy, his defense attorney is just all the way full of it. But it goes for the police too. As far as, like, I don't even think they believe that he just did this because he thought he got shot and he was just trying to defend himself. He thought his life was in danger, and they don't even believe that is. They just trying to go with the flow and defend him. Man, come on, man. This man supposed to be locked up, my brothers and sisters. Being team, if that was either me or you, our ass would be in prison right now. They've been threw away the goddamn key, man. And not even just the fact that he killed Kenneth, or he shot and also shot Kenneth mama and daddy. You did it in a public ass in a store, like a grocery store where there was plenty of other people around. And I was talking about it, and if y'all seen in the footage, there was a mama pushing her little child. It was exactly what I had said. There was a mama pushing her child in a car seat, her baby, her infant in the car seat inside the buggy. Now, what of a damn bullet that you just shooting randomly, just shooting, don't care with nobody? What if one of them hit the little baby? And I'm gonna say this right here, and I'm gonna let y'all go. Cause y'all know I can go on and on with this. But I'm gonna say this right here, and I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna say this right here. Even if one of those bullets, those 10 bullets that he had shot, had ended up shooting and killing that little infant or any other baby or whatever, I still believe he'll be a free man. And I'm just gonna leave it like that. Now y'all know I ain't lying. Y'all know it's a strong possibility that even if he had shot one of them little kids in the goddamn store, he would still be a free man because the blue got the black bag, the blue. But I digress. I'm gonna go let y'all go now, man. This was a great video from Kevin. As always, dude always do an amazing job. I watch a lot of his videos, y'all, and y'all don't even, like, I don't react to a lot of them, but I watch because he put out a lot. He is very consistent with it, and I be watching them without y'all, and then when I get done watching, I'm like, damn, man, I wish me and my brothers and sisters could have reacted to that one. You know what I'm saying, man? But I try to make sure that I come back to him. I am a huge fan, just like I'm a huge fan of y'all for coming back to me. Y'all, please, before you leave, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and do all that, if you ain't did that yet. And I need y'all to also remember this. Love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.